All right, hello and welcome to another part three of our long form conversation with Nicholas Kimla, CEO and founder of Pipeliner CRM. Myself, John Golden, also from Pipeliner CRM and SalesPOP. We've covered a lot about salespreneurs, about the role of salespeople. We talked about the Austrian School of Economics, and how that whole those theories underpin and the business concept of how we built the business and how it informs everything we do. And the next part I wanted to talk about is how we have built a sustainable and a profitable and an efficient business, because it hasn't been by accident. And Nicholas, you at the very start had a concept. I think it maybe comes from the Malik school or whatever, but a real concept of how to systematically build the components of a business to get to, productivity, efficiency, and profitability. And that's what I thought I'd like to talk about today. First of all, what attracted you to this model in the first place? And then let's talk about the steps of actually implementing it, so people understand that it's not a simple out of the box solution that you just say, here, follow these 5 steps and everything will be good.
Yes, yes, thank you. Or first of all, I enjoy talking with you about all of that stuff. This is really good. Or it clears my mind, and it helps me even to be more focused. Yeah. Or I would say it comes out of a lot of failures. Yeah.
Mhm.
You see, I had so many ideas, and I started too many projects or base when I was based in Europe. Or I wanted to do this. I wanted to start a newspaper. I wanted to start a company working at the originally when I started with Apple computers and becoming an Apple center. And then I realized, oh, hardware is not the future. It is the software. Hardware is just a vehicle for the
Mhm.
software. And so I started immediately a division and created a separate division where we programmed. And then I had the idea of our coming from the Austrian school to organize power breakfast and conferences. So I did too many things at one time. That was radically changed, or the more I dived deeper into Malik, to be honest. And
Mhm.
then it radically changed when I came to America, because you see, I had no infrastructure, what I had over the years in Europe. Yeah. So I had from the beginning on to get something going to focus. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I realized, even when you focus, or the problem is, how I can say that, the tensions are always strongest are at the bottleneck, isn't
Yeah.
it? Huh?
Yeah.
And so, for example, when you have a hydraulic power station, yeah, and you want to build that, you want not to build it on the widest point of view. No, you want to build it where the current is the fastest, yeah,
Mhm.
to get the power, yeah. So you have to focus really. And so I realized, okay, what is the product or that we created or was geared around definitely or basically on processes, but I realized that the number one process is definitely for sales.
Mhm.
And the focus on sales helped me to understand, I have to focus everything around sales or in the terminology, so that I have really a solution for salespeople,
Mhm.
for sales management. And um, you are always tempted when you build a company, because there is constantly ideas coming from the outside.
Yeah.
There's constantly, not only from yourself, yeah, or first of all, there is to the new employees there you hire.
Mhm.
Everybody brings, when they're smart, another idea,
Yeah.
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 And I would say, no, none of these ideas are bad ideas, but the question is, does it help you to create this sharp pencil?
Mhm.
Because only the sharp pencil can really pick you, and it hurts. That means it should not hurt the customer, it should hurt the problem.
Yeah.
And to fix the problem, yeah.
Uh,
uh, and so I realized, boy, this is a problem, because at the beginning, you have not the perfect product ready,
yeah.
or I had not the perfect product ready, yeah. And so we had to start even in the segment, but we were not at the segment where we wanted to be, where we
Mhm.
are right now. Yeah. And so you have to create a process where you focus on the one hand, but also you have to learn to survive. Otherwise, you need so much money that is impossible, even that no one would be willing to pay that, and
Yeah.
definitely no investor. And when you go upstream, because one thing that I realized right from the beginning was investigating a little bit deeper, and coming from banking compliance, I knew a lot of technology and I knew about the other systems. And it was clear to me that when you had these major three pieces out there, Salesforce, Microsoft, or NetSuite, and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So at that time, it was sugar. These beasts were not created overnight.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
long
No,
term. So,
absolutely.
yeah. So it took us, we knew, okay, we cannot program something in 2 years. It's
Yeah.
impossible. Yeah. So we knew it takes time. And so you have to focus on the product. At the same time, you have to create customers for this product that you have, but you have the other in mind. That
Mm.
was, in my opinion, one of the biggest challenge, Ari.
Yeah, and that's such a, I mean, that's such a difficult balancing act, isn't it? Because you have to deliver value to your existing customers while you're building it out to appeal to the next level of customers, and
Correct.
that's not an easy thing to do.
Oh, it was, or to be honest, it was even, I don't know, you remember, but
Mhm.
the people, maybe they listen, they don't know, because you see, there was two things at the same time. The one thing was, instantly from the beginning on, I knew, and so we got to know each other. I created content because I
Yeah.
know we want to create content for salespeople. Yeah. So I created content, but for most of these people, I did by myself a lot, as you know, content.
Yeah.
And this content was not basically for all the people that we sold the first version of Pipeline, or the first versions of Pipeline.
Hmm.
Yeah, because there were not this big sales manager. Yeah, because
Yeah.
the software was not there. So we had our smaller customers, and we wanted to survive, to go always next level, next
Yeah.
level, next level. And then I had never predicted that, and it was not clear to me when I just basically convinced my wife and said, "Hey, we should go to America, and this will be the fantastic, and you will see, we will grow like crazy, and we will go to America, and in 2 3 years we have here this unbelievable startup, and everybody will knock on our door." Yes, it was like someone was knocking on our door. This was Steve Jobs, and he knocked on my door and said, "Your technology is gone because
Yeah.
everything was built on Flash," and he killed it.
Yeah, yeah, and it's amazing. It's a great lesson, and I think this is really important for people to understand. Is like this is a moment when this is a live or die moment for a company, where the tech you built on a technology for good reason, because it was a gaming tech. It was the most visual, and you were right about salespeople want something that's visual that they can relate to, and the rug is now pulled from under you. This isn't going to be supported anymore. So i so i don't think people understand like what a moment that is, when you're literally staring at, either you've got to refactor this very quickly in another technology, or basically you've got to say, gave it a shot and sayonara.
That, yeah, you're so right. And you see, we had all these stories in the back
Mhm.
end, or in my back of my mind. I knew, or I saw a lot of managers running around, or in the 10 years before that, with Blackberries,
Yeah.
and then look around, nobody's
Mhm.
using it anymore. So I knew about the failures when you are switching from one technology to another. It's a risk factor, a big risk factor.
Mhm.
But that was not only the only challenge that we had to focus. That was basically one of the most important points ever, because you see, we realized, okay, we have to change technology. Okay,
Yeah.
that was a given. But then internally in my own company, in our company, because you, you were at that part already really fully invested, with time, energy, and money. Yeah, we realized shit, we have in the company people, they have different opinions about the new technology.
Right.
And I had to focus from the product, because everything in the product, that's my creation, basically. Yeah. I had to realize, no, this is exactly how it should be. So we should never change what we have created in Adobe Air. That was
Hmm.
the technology. And that's a story in itself, by
Hmm.
itself, against Silverlight and stuff like that. And I'm not going into this. But the point is, I had internally to fight. And I think that was the beginning of the real success. Why? Because I said to the team, never ever we change the visualization. We are change only the underneath technology and make it to the newest technology. And that was a real fight, if you
Yeah.
remember. Oh
No,
my
it
goodness.
wasn't, and it's a great thing for people to listen to, because it's a bold move, because there's a real temptation. You're moving technologies and like, oh, let's do everything brand new and let's do this and that, and like, and you end up with that old phrase, throwing the baby out with the bathwater, right?
Correct.
Rather than going, hang on a second, here the fundamentals haven't changed here. Yeah, the technology, but there's a reason why you have it like it is, as you said, why you kept the frame, you kept the navigation, you kept everything the way it was, because it worked.
It worked, and we got hundreds and hundreds easy customers, and it was really growing. It was fantastic, and partners. Well, there was our when we changed technology, we got really hit hard, because first of all, we lost, boom, 100 partners, something
Mhm.
like that. They said, oh, technology is gone, boom, out, gone.
Yep.
But the point was, this was the good news, is all our customers, and the majority at that time, when they realized, oh, this is fantastic, this is very different, this is really how salespeople think, this is how they work. And it's not for a small company of
Mhm.
3, 5 users. If you're really a company who is really established, and you look at that, then you realize, wow, this is really good, this is smart, this is how we work. These people had nothing to relearn. They
Yes.
just switched from one moment to another to just the latest technology.
Mhm.
They knew everything, because the frame we haven't changed. We made it even better,
Mhm.
because they said, this could be a little bit better in the new version. We did that already. And
Yeah.
we do it still today. Like
Yeah.
yesterday, John, as you know, we had yesterday and fantastic release.
Yeah.
A fantastic release. And what we did, it's for me mind blowing, because it helps again. It seems simple. It comes out of cybernetic principles.
Mhm.
Cybernetic principles comes out of the mindset of the MIT Institute, or Norbert Wiener, and it's the science of simplification.
Yep.
So what you want is that your user are not bombarded with too much information. You want that the user is just seeing what he needs for his task to fulfill his job.
Mhm. Yeah.
Otherwise, it's irritating. Think about when you drive to the airport. When you want to drive to the airport and there is too many signs, what is it producing? A
Yeah.
lot of traffic, a
Yeah.
lot of traffic, and
And
people are
stress.
and stress. Oh my goodness, with the luggage, you don't know. Or when you go and you want to collect your luggage, what it's always a big problem, because right now they are losing too much luggage
Mhm.
or whatever. Yeah. But the point is, you follow the signs. If
Mhm.
you have too many signs or too many words, you're irritated. So
Mhm.
what we did yesterday is, we are once again made for activities, that means for task and appointments, and for tagging, individualized, that you can do that for each form of each entity. I give an example. So when you have, for instance, accounts, everyone
Yeah.
has accounts, but it could be that a bigger company has not only their own accounts, they have maybe their partner accounts. They have maybe distribution accounts. They have other accounts internally they want to track differently.
Mhm.
If you would have the tagging for these different forms, because you have a lot of fields of these different forms. Yeah. If you would have the tagging all the same, you have a long list,
Yeah.
but you want only maybe 3 taggings for this kind of form of the account management. Yeah. And then you want only to see these 3 taggings and these 3 activities or appointments that you want to create. Send an email or creating a follow-up meeting, whatever it is. Yeah. And yesterday we released again focus.
Yeah.
Because only when you focus, this is the next point, you create efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
And our efficere, from the Latin word efficiency comes, means you do something with less amount of time to be faster to something to establish and to reach your goal, what you want to establish.
Mm-hmm.
And I think efficiency is, first of all, between effectiveness and efficiency, totally misunderstood in the business world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really, yeah.
Absolutely.
People
Mhm.
cannot come when you ask someone quickly, what is the difference between effectiveness and efficiency? They would come up with simple, crazy
Or,
stories.
or they would say, well, they're the same.
Or exactly, but they are so crucial, very, very different. And the effectiveness can only come to the right tool.
Yeah.
To the right tool. Go to right now. We are in this devastation, or in Los Angeles, or in the Palisades, in Altadena, in Malibu, and the
Mhm.
Banger, and all the houses. It's terrible. But the point is that I want to make, it's the time, or it's the biggest time ever in Los Angeles, or in hundreds of years probably, where people will rebuild houses. That means
Mhm.
there's
Yeah.
a lot of people they need really to build this house.
Mhm.
And what a real good builder is, because at the end, this can be only done by physical work. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is not. There's no robots right now that
Mhm.
can do that. Yeah, so you need each of them protect their tools.
Yes.
Why? If you have, think about, sometimes you use a wrong tool, for instance, to put a nail into the wall. If you have, let's say, this big hammer, and you tried it, or whatever tool you use, maybe you ruined the wall, or you
Mhm.
ruined the nail, or whatever, or your
Yeah.
finger. Yeah.
Or
So
all three.
the house builders are protecting their tools. Oh, they are very, very, they carry that
Mhm.
around. They are buying that even very often by themselves, because they know,
Yeah.
if I have the right tool, and that's the important part. I can own, this leads, when I have the right tool, to efficiency, because
Mhm.
efficiency is using the right tool at the right time efficiently. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then I get really this is a given.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so many people don't understand, when they're choosing a CRM system, for instance, oh, it's the name, it's
Mhm.
their contact, it's this. It's the only question, is this the right
Is this
tool
the
for
right tool?
what you need?
Yeah, yeah. Because how many times have you seen people, like, they will choose and adopt a technology, and then it becomes a hindrance to the organization. It actually takes them backwards because it's the wrong tool. It's not, implemented in the correct fashion, and it doesn't actually benefit. And then you end up in that situation where you have imposed a tool on people. It's like going to the builder and saying, "Here, no, no, give me that hammer. I've got a better hammer for you." And then you give him something, and he's like, I can't use this. I can't use this. What am I supposed to do? And you've gone backwards, right? You've gone back from effectiveness to being completely ineffective. And it's often because the person choosing the tool doesn't understand the job of the person using it.
Absolutely. And there's two risk factors in that. Or the risk factor number one is because, or you have to understand that very often in companies, people make decision for others, as you said, but they make the decision because they want to secure their own job.
Sure.
So there is this typical IBM or syndrome, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Because when in the old days you sold IBM and
yeah.
you bought IBM, there was no problem, because nobody can make you piss
Yeah,
you. Yeah.
there was the old saying, is, nobody ever got fired for purchasing IBM.
Exactly. And so these people make decisions based on that premise. The other problem is, when you implement, for instance, CRM, in a bigger mid-size or enterprise business, this is not something that you can implement
Mhm.
in 4, 5, 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Impossible. Let's be honest, it takes time. So you will see the effect 1.5 years later.
Mhm.
You lose this time. you lose the whole time of that. And you see, today you can be so easy extinct.
Yeah.
People don't see the risk factor if you use today wrong technology.
Hmm.
I think this week is very fundamental, changing our worldscape. I would predict today, it's not a prophecy, it's a prediction. No, but honestly,
If it comes
i-
true, it was a prophecy.
exactly, yeah, yeah, exactly. But today, I can promise that DeepSeek has changed this week on AI radically. It's not about the stock market and all of that.
Uh,
Forget that. I'm not interested in that. Who is making money and who is losing and making. That's not the point. The point is, it is the mindset that has changed and will radically change right now worldwide. A lot of people, because it was like, oh God, AI and agents and everything, we cannot do anything. You need hundreds of millions of dollars,
mhm,
hundreds. And this is only maybe four players in the world. And we have to find a way to get behind them. And then we can use that, and let's
mhm,
find that. DeepSeek, and I believe it's not a hoax. I
mhm,
don't believe it's a hoax because I've heard someone in the news channel. I don't know. I don't want to name him right now. He told on one of the famous news channel, "Oh, this is all a lie. DeepSeek is also invested, and because China is behind, and they
mhm.
make a marketing story." No, I don't believe that. They came in and they said, "Okay, it is possible." In an open source model, think about that.
Yeah.
Communist country is open source and we are closed. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's a different story in itself. But anyhow, so today we can really predict that this week what happened is changing the AI scape, because there will be hundreds other companies that would say, if they can do that, I can do it. And
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
and therefore what it helps, it will help because there will be more solutions, there will be more competition, and there will be better solutions for the customers, and
Yeah.
it's not monopoly. And this is
No.
what it's this is cool.
Yeah, no, it's gonna have that balancing effect because you're right, because before this week, it was, as you said, there's only a couple of players out there and they could charge whatever they want. They could tell us whatever they want. It costs this,
Exactly.
and we didn't know any different. Now DeepSeek has come out, and if people, if people don't believe it or think it's a hoax, well, just look at the electric car industry. China has produced electric cars at a ridiculously low price, and people have tested them and driven them, and they're as good, if not better, than a lot of the Western brands. So they're able to do it,
and that,
and I
and
think this
that
is
leads me to the model
yeah.
that is in my mind. So focus, efficiency. So these guys have been efficient in working on this deep seek, yeah.
Hmm.
And what leads that to productivity?
Productivity.
Total. And I have tested it really this week, and come on, to be honest, everyone should do that.
Hmm.
I feel it's faster and better.
Yeah, and and it's so comprehensive.
So comprehensive. Yeah, I was really surprised. I
Hmm.
asked a lot of interesting questions, and so I was super surprised about the answers and how it was answering. And I was even going in a different direction with that. And oh, where is it? This, because I wanted to know, because you can see your past, and so um it was really fantastic to get all of these different kinds of answers. And um I just wanted to know about everything. It's a simple question, but I compared that. Yeah. Has Jesus Christ lived really on this earth, and when?
Yeah,
Just wanted to know that. Yeah. What they're coming up, because there's a lot of, why I asked that, because there's a lot of text out there.
right.
Really. Yeah. Tremendous text. Yeah.
And by the
The
way,
most,
and DeepSeek is built by an atheistic country, right? So that's even more interesting.
yeah. So I got all this unbelievable information on that. And I realized, oh, wow, this is. So I was even going a step further, and I asked, is the resurrection proven from a communist
Mhm.
country?
Yeah.
Yeah? The resurrection of Jesus Christ is a central tenet of the Christian faith, but it's not proven in a historical and scientific sense. The resurrection is primarily a matter of religious belief rather than empirical evidence. Here's the breakdown in the perspective: religious perspective, historical perspective, skeptical perspective, lack of extra evidence. The
Yeah.
conclusion: the resurrection is not proven in a historical sciences, or it remains a matter of faith, and it's not subjective empirical verification. Historians can study the origin and the development of the belief in the resurrection, but they cannot confirm or deny.
Yeah.
Oh, and wow, look at this. I
Mhm.
was I know, but I wanted to ask that because there is more text on this topic than in any other text of the world, because
Right.
2000 years.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's incredible, and like you said, I mean, I think it's going to democratize. Again, ironic. The the communist country is going to democratize AI, and as you said, they with the open source model again, and we have our Western ones all trying to keep everything closed. But let's go back a little bit to productivity for a moment, because I think that's another that's another concept that people throw around all the time, but don't really understand what that really means in practical terms, like when you're running a company.
Yes, so we had to really to focus on our topic, and we realized when we are focusing and becoming efficient, and each person, you have to learn to, to your daily work that you do when you focus and really get the stuff done. You are realizing to technology, you much more can are do in a very short time more things. That is the productivity with less resources. Yeah,
Hmm.
and then realizing that, I thought, okay, why we have the concept in our mind that everybody, and you see, you have to have it in different ways, but why we have in the concept in the mind, we need this kind of people
Yeah,
when technology can do that. And so the productivity of a company is also with less resources to get more done.
yeah. It it,
Because
it and it is that interesting. It is that interesting idea, isn't it? That and this has always been the way even in technology companies. Ironically, is you've been in the States long enough. We've seen enough technology companies scale by people. It's always scale by people. It's as the company grows, you hire more people and you hire people to do this, that, and the other. Then because of that, you then have to hire layers of middle management. And before you know it, you have an unwieldy bureaucratic organization. And this is true of even the most advanced technology companies, because, again, they always follow that model of scaling by people.
absolutely. And that is exactly the opposite what we have done, because I strongly believe if you have proven that, first of all, we only want to hire smart people,
Mhm.
because you see, the more smart people you have, or they should come up with some solutions.
Yeah.
Number one, if you are have smart people, why you want to control them? You want to empower them.
Yeah.
And when you empower the smart people, you want to give them as much as possible responsibilities, that they do their job, that they do what they can do better. Yeah. And therefore, you have to make a flatter organization structure. That means you cut out middlemans.
Mhm.
And the middlemans very often are totally worthless, because you manage a couple of people, but they can be in so many ways self-responsible.
Mhm.
And technology today, you can do that. Therefore, my next prediction is that we will see our millions of people gone in the workforce. Millions,
Yeah.
not 100,000, millions, because the technology will take out these middlemen. It's
Yeah.
not necessary anymore. Yeah.
Mhm.
And there will be also solution coming, that makes the productivity of something better, because you see, there is so many things that technology can do better, because technology normally doesn't make mistakes. It's
Yeah.
not allowed. Otherwise,
Yeah.
how we can send a rocket to into the sky?
Mhm.
Otherwise, it would be a disaster. And what happened tragically 2 days ago in the night in on the East Coast was basically a human error. It was
Yeah.
not a technology area. The technology
Mhm.
was there, and this terrible tragedy at the airport was a human error, not
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think also, Nicholas, it's been unfortunate. I think that people have also been have been s- have been sold a wrong concept, I think, over the last like 10, 20 years or so, of this idea about all the other things in work, about, you know, all the extraneous things about, you know, looking after you and having this and having that and everything, rather than getting back to the fundamental of, you know, are you good at your job, are you productive, you know, are you as efficient as you can be. And therefore a lot of those people are going to kind of fall by the wayside, because when the scrutiny comes on them, they'll realize, well, they haven't worked on their productivity and their efficiency, they haven't made themselves the best they can be, because they've been distracted by other stuff that actually doesn't matter.
Yeah. And here kicks in too, or what we have as a core principle, or and I like that so much, because you see, we want to help the so-called, however we call it, the gifted ones to get
Mhm.
better.
Yeah,
Because I strongly believe when you like something, what you do, and you
yeah,
really love what you do,
yeah,
or and you can get better and better
yeah,
because you
yeah,
like it,
yeah.
yeah. But
You want to
most
get better.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And there are so many people, they do so many things they don't like to do, but not willing to change. And then comes the company in and train the people on things they don't like to do or where they're not doing good. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think there's a difference between laziness and
sure.
really, yeah, there's a
Mhm.
difference, because
Yeah,
laziness this is unacceptable. Yeah. But when I have something where I'm not good, why I should be trained on that, what I'm not good? I
mhm,
should be trained on something to become more efficient and productive in the things that I like to do.
yeah,
And this is what we do. Because then, wow, I give an example. Right now, our core team, we were thinking about that. Where comes really productivity? This is really practical. We thought about our people. First of all, we have people that are hanging around me. I don't know why, yeah, for a long time. And so the point is, I said to my team, and said, "Hey, you guys, you know the application. You work with me over years and years to build this, and we have right now new technology. Why we should hire AI experts to do that when it's not so complicated, because we know everything, just to train them and learn." So we said, hey, let's turn that around. Why not our best people become the next level of the AI experts?
mhm.
We don't need to go out, and we take the others in and they learn the things that we
Yeah,
still have to do. And I feel that leads to why, because they like to do that. They are
yeah,
good in that. Yeah. So
yeah.
here kicks in real productivity.
Yeah, yeah, no, it has always fascinated me that this human nature thing is like we're always trying to fix things and try to, and we like to focus on the things that people, as you said, don't do well, and that we become obsessed with that as opposed to looking at what they do well. And the end of the day is the best job you do with somebody who doesn't like or doesn't have the aptitude is maybe you can get them from bad to mediocre. And is that what you want? Do you want a bunch of people who can do their jobs in a mediocre fashion, or do you want people doing stuff that they're really good at but improving all the time?
Yeah, and most of these people, when they don't like what they do and they are not good in that, and because they don't really want to learn, and they
Mhm.
want not to basically are go to the next level and next step, what they could do is they always feel entitled and complain.
Yeah,
Always.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
always.
I think that's where a lot of the so-called quiet quitting comes from. You know, when people sort of quit their jobs, but they stay in them because, you know, they don't like what they're doing, they don't care about it and whatever, and they just think, yeah, I'll just stay and draw a paycheck, you know, as opposed to, you know, going, oh, I really love this job, I want to get better, I want to be the best. And I think it comes also back to the type of people that you bring into an organization.
Absolutely. This is also why people often don't see the bigger picture.
Hmm.
When you see really the bigger picture, you are contributing to the whole,
Yeah.
to to the whole company, or to the vision or to the mission of a company. And then you are not having this mindset. If you have
Mhm.
this mindset, it's very selfish
Mhm.
and it's very unproductive.
Yeah.
because you see, then the mindset should be, in my opinion, in that area, we all in this together to get forwards, to get
Mhm.
better. Yeah. And I can't understand that people are constantly complaining about stuff, or if they feel, or this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. Well, or why you are not starting what is right and make it better for yourself, and then you will see that the result. Yeah. And so productivity, in my opinion, comes out when someone is really like what he's doing, he's good in what he's doing, he's getting better. And today, in in that area where we live, I think it's everything what we do is everything is in combination with technology.
Mhm.
This
Yeah.
is a given, yeah. And so technology and what you are doing has to grow rapidly, and coming in a symbiosis or symposium. How you call that? Sorry, my English.
Yeah.
My God.
Symbiotic. Yeah.
Symbiotic, or in a symbiotic or environment, and then you will see the results of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the other part then is, we, especially over the last number of years, and we've been here, we know that certainly in America, that startup companies and all of that, and it's always been this idea about, hyper growth, and forget about the bottom line, forget about profitability, forget about all the efficient, whatever, just throw money at stuff and just try and go for hyper growth. And then of course you have, economic conditions change, and then suddenly people are going, oops, how do you get profitable? But we always from the start said that, and it's always been my belief, the measure of a business is profitability, because it means that how to produce something that's efficient. You've got it efficient, so you can produce it at a certain, for a certain cost. There's enough value perceived by the customer that they're prepared to pay that cost plus X amount. And therefore, the profitability is the measure of the fact that you have a meaningful business. Then you can decide what to do with those profits. You can put them back in the business, you can pay bonuses, you can take whatever you want to do with that. But the model that you've talked about with productivity, efficiency, and technology, that's the only way you can achieve sustained profitability and a business that has solid fundamentals.
Absolutely. I know this is in the SaaS business a little
Yeah.
bit harder, to be
Hmm.
honest. Yeah, absolutely. It takes longer. But I think to build a really good business, it always takes years.
Hmm.
It is the same if we would basically ask our first grader why they don't understand right now higher mathematics. Come on, you should know that already. Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you are in first grade. Yeah, you're not in algebra one. You're already.
Yeah.
And I think to build a business, it takes time. And Malik was very good in that. But you see, it should head off. You should see. If not, then you do something wrong.
Right.
And in our case, we can see that. Yeah. Okay, we had a hit. We got really hit hard, and this was our changing technology. But we not only survived, we are driving right now. And compare to other companies, they're all dead, yeah, when they
Hmm.
change technology. And I can say today, with real deep honesty, a lot of our competitors, one day they have to change technology, because
Mm.
the new technology is really the driving force. And I don't know how they will manage that. I'm not in their shoes. I'm happy. I've done my stuff. It was painful and hurtful and a
Mhm.
terrible time. We have survived. We were going through that, and luckily we are on the other side. But a lot of technology that is out there is outdated, and you
Yeah.
have products they are totally outdated. One day people will wake up with the
Yeah.
big names.
Yeah, no, no, that's coming probably sooner rather than later now, especially with all the changes we're seeing. And I guess the really interesting part of this also is, as you said, if you're going to do it properly and you're going to build a solid and sustainable business, it takes time. And that's something that, a lot of people unfortunately don't have the patience for, so they try to take shortcuts. But as we know, there's an old Irish saying that says, the long way round is the short way home.
Yeah,
And
I had from the beginning on my first presentation that I ever did. I I took the picture of a cathedral,
Hmm.
And I said to my team at that time, we are lucky in a different situation because I said, here are people, they will see the end result.
Mm.
So many people, they have built the cathedral, have not even seen the finished product. So,
Mm.
what in the world, where are we going from medieval times to now? There were people in the old age, they were building something that have never seen the end result
Yeah.
and were dedicated, were efficient, were basically motivated. They have sweat, tears, and blood was running into that. Now, everything should be instant and
Yeah.
everything should be instantly I feel something happened along the way, and we should rethink our structure in our society a little bit about all of that because to build something that is really solid takes time.
Hmm.
And I think only if you do it right, you get a good result.
Yeah. Well, like you always say about the tower in Dubai, isn't it? Like that the most important part of that, and probably the longest and the least interesting, probably to people who are doing it, was the foundation.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Can you imagine? Or otherwise, you build on sand.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. And this, you see, this is the magic, or why I'm so happy or and proud and excited about that because we have our people, they have been the whole way and they have not dropped out. Recently, we had a presentation, and one guy, I was then sitting next to him, and he could not believe or that in a technology company, people are so long in our company and dedicated. And he was almost falling from his chair because he could not believe that the people are staying so long, because mainly the majority is just hopping.
Hmm. Yeah.
But it's, and you learn different things in life. You also can, yeah, people do that, but you cannot drop out or so much of many situation in your own life. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
like
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I do think, yeah, people have got a very short-term focus these days, and yeah, they hop from job to job, and unfortunately, you often see it in life. Hop from one relationship or one situation to another, and never build, and never, and I guess at the end, they never have anything that's solid or in their lives, right? And that's part of like being with the company is you feel like you feel like you're building a legacy. I guess that probably the best way to put it.
yes. Yeah, this and here kicks in when you grow and when you go to profitability, it goes further because then you can start thinking about, okay, I have to reinvest,
Yeah.
and what I reinvest in the next level of increasing sales, increasing marketing, increasing market share.
Hmm.
And so you can grow. And I
Yeah.
think this is our, and here kicks the other point in. If you have this, or basically this process running, you have to stay focused
Yeah.
because otherwise you lose again and you begin or in on the wrong side of the whole stuff.
Yeah. Otherwise, you end up. Do you remember those plate spinners, where they're spinning plates on those things, and they're running around always trying to spin the plate that's about to fall off and everything. If you haven't, yeah. So if you're not always staying focused and making sure every piece is working, yeah, you're just going to end up with a lot of smash plates.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
this is fascinating, fantastic, Nicholas. It's a great overview of, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is how you build a solid and sustainable business. It's not always the fun and easy way that some people like to promote, but it is actually the most satisfying one because at the end of the day, you have something real and something sustainable, and the ultimate measurement is the value customers put on it.
Absolutely. That is the amazing thing when you have dedicated and are fantastic customers, and I like so much the video or that are always I are showed at the beginning. It came from from a different entity, but the point is I use this video because you see it is basically you need fans,
Yeah.
and you need fans they are behind you. Yeah, this is when you go in the stadium. Why the big
Mhm.
stadium without fans would be terrible. Yeah, we became
Mhm.
fans of a football club or a soccer club or a basketball club, whatever it is. We are fans of these people. Yeah, and uh, companies needs also fans there behind
Mhm.
them, and that means when you call a customer and you ask him, or hey, I need a little favor. Could you help me in a deal where you are important to tell them how
Mhm.
we are doing, how is the product doing, how is our service doing, and they are not willing to do that, then basically you have not a fan, you have a
Yeah.
customer number. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, and then even beyond that, it's the ones that without you asking, without you doing a referral program, just go off and refer you because they like you, and they when they come, they don't even need you to prompt them. They just do it because let's face it, people want to be associated with good brands, and they want to recommend you to somebody else because they want to have that shared thing. So the other person comes back and goes, "Oh, fantastic that you turned me on to Pipeliner because it's transformed my business." So, but nobody's going to do that unless they have that experience.
absolutely,
Yeah.
100%, 100%. This is our this that's it, and there you see the cycle.
Yeah.
So focus, efficiency. After efficiency, logically, if you follow that, is becoming you are productive. Productivity leads to profitability. Profitability gives you the option to increase or to basically reinvest if you want that. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a decision to gain more, let's to sales and marketing market share. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you stay focused, here we go.
Yeah. There you go. Simple. But as we always say, simple does not equate to easy.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Nicholas. We'll pick up this conversation again next week. Thank you.